What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another sports card video. I'm your host, Tim, and today I wanted to talk about the Fairfield card show that happened this past weekend. It's actually my birthday weekend, so what did I do for my birthday? Went to a card show. This weekend, the card show was just awesome. I did talk about the card show that happened a couple of months ago, also in the same city of Fairfield, and that card show was unbelievably packed. It was actually like shoulder to shoulder, you couldn't even move. You couldn't even really like dig through the bins, the dollar bins. You couldn't even really talk to the dealers. It was actually a little bit uncomfortable, but it was cool. There was a lot of excitement. Well, there was just as much excitement for this weekend, and I was kind of curious to see if that would be the case. I know the market's been down for the last couple of months, and so there's been a lot of concern or just a little bit of anxiety, and maybe you might think that people aren't willing to spend any money on cards, or maybe they might even be trying to get rid of their collection. And really what I saw is a lot of excited collectors, a lot of people that are just excited to be in the hobby, a lot of people who have gotten back into it since the recent demand, the recent buzz and hype, which I know once you kind of get back into it, it seems like you're hooked. And that's what I saw at the show. It was really cool to see everyone just looking for their favorite player, looking for their favorite teams that they collect, and even people who are investing and just kind of realizing that maybe the player that I was looking at earlier is not panning out. I'm going to shift my portfolio. I'm going to just kind of trade what I have and see if I can find a better deal, a better prospect, maybe a player that's kind of down right now and might make a comeback. Everybody has their speculation, and it's just fun to really play the game. For this show, I actually set up as a dealer. I went there with my brother, Derek, and we both combined our collections, and we set up a table and just were buying and selling and trading. It was a lot of fun. I had no idea what to expect. I've never been a dealer before, so this was the first time I was able to do that. And the cool thing about it is you get to see everyone's collection. People come up to you and they either want to trade or they want to sell you their cards. There's a little bit of negotiation, but it's just really cool to get to know these people, kind of understand why they collect what they collect, why they decided to buy these certain players, and maybe why they're even trying to move them. So I think part of the thing that I really enjoyed is getting to see what people are interested in right now. And a couple of things that I noticed: Kobe Bryant, super popular still. I know his 1996 Topps rookie card is not the hot card that it used to be, and it didn't seem like people were really going after that. But any unusual variations of Kobe seemed to be a real hit. I only had one Kobe. It was a 1999 Topps PSA 10 with the orange border, and people seemed to love it. They were drawn to it. The other thing that people seem to be interested in is orange serial numbered optics. We just happen to have a few of those, not of any really top-notch or high-end players, but people just kind of seem to like those cards. So these were just some things that I noticed that collectors seem to be interested in. They were drawn to it. The other thing I wanted to point out, and I'm going to do this in the second part of the video, are how the HGA slabs look in a case. I never really took a look at HGA slabs side by side with PSA or any of the other grading companies to see how they compare, how they kind of look aesthetically. But I'll tell you, they pop. They really pop. And other collectors noticed that too. We had on one row, we had a bunch of HGA slabs, and then we had basically the rest PSA. And side by side, you can really see the difference. I don't work for HGA. I'm not sponsored by them. There's nothing that I get by saying that. This is just the honest truth that I observed. There weren't a lot of HGA slabs at the show, which kind of makes sense because it's difficult to get into their lottery system and get the cards graded at this point in time still. But just wanted to point that out. So anyway, it was just a really cool experience. Again, being a dealer, seeing everyone at the show. Again, we got there Saturday morning and there was a line out the door. Once again, just like in April, a lot of excitement, people coming around asking for certain players, just and again, and spending money. So that was the other thing too, is that I hear a lot on other vlogs that at shows they're mostly trading, not really spending, especially a kind of uncertain market. You're not sure whether you want to spend money on a card and have it go down in value 2 weeks later, and so that is a concern of everyone's. But again, but right now the smarter collectors are realizing that if this player is affordable, if this card is something that I can get into my collection right now because the prices are down, I'm going to do it. Chances are that the card could go down in value. That everybody understands the risk. But at a certain price point, I think the more intelligent collectors are basically saying, hey, if I can get into this card at this point in time, I'm going to take that chance and we'll see what happens down the road. Anyway, I just wanted to kind of give a brief overview of the Fairfield Card Show. It was a 2-day card show. Both days were packed. Both days were busy. It was just non-stop action. As a dealer, really couldn't take a break, barely break away for lunch. And this is kind of what I've been hearing about on vlogs. And I just was really excited to be part of it this weekend. I'm going to do a second part of this video to go over an HGA reveal. But thanks. Let's go ahead and get into that second part now. Okay, here we're going to take a look at 5 cards that I got back. Actually, it was my brother Derek who sent these off. This was our first order to HGA. So we were pretty excited to see what we were going to get. And we really weren't sure what to expect. I talked to Derek and he basically said that he wasn't really expecting to get any 9.5s. So I think we did okay on this order, considering that this card was actually picked up raw at a card show back in April with the Fairfield card show that I was talking about. And it was purchased for about $125. We actually did this 10-day order, so it was $50 to get it graded. And it came back in HGA 9.0. You can see that up in the upper left corner, 9.0 mint. And they do give subgrades. So you can see that the edges and the centering and the corners actually all got 9.5s. Unfortunately, the surface was an 8.5. And you're going to find that is very common in cards that are purchased on eBay or maybe even at a card show. Many times the collectors understand, they know if there's surface damage, and that's probably why they're willing to sell it raw and not get it graded. I wouldn't say that that's the case all the time, but a good percentage of the time that's going to happen. And it looks like that was probably the case here. Nevertheless, this is a really nice card. You could see it's a real autograph from Freddie Freeman, last year's National League MVP. And they actually grade the auto as well. So let's turn the card to the back here. And you can see autograph got a 10. And this is a serial numbered card. Let's try to zoom in and see that serial number. 278 out of 500. So this is a Freddie Freeman Bowman Chrome Refractor serial number auto card, a beautiful card. And it actually goes, in my other HGA video, I talked about how HGA 9s go for the equivalent price of a PSA 10. So a PSA 9 is the equivalent price. And a PSA 9 goes for about $450, maybe upwards of $500 in that range. So this was actually a really good result. This was a good turnout for this particular card, considering that we put in about $175 into it, and we could probably easily get over $400 on eBay for it. So that was a nice one, probably the best one we got. We also submitted this Carlos Correa rookie card, which also got an HGA 9, and it got 2 9.5s and 2 9s. The corners were 9 and the surface was a 9. Another really nice looking refractor autograph rookie card with the matching slab. And that's one of the things about HGA. They match the slab to the card or to the uniform. In this case, it probably would have been the same because it looks like he has the blue jersey on. And it just looks so much better, I believe, than PSA. And then here they grade the auto as well, and you can see the auto got a 10. That's one of the keys, in my opinion. If the auto gets a 10, I believe that that's a really good collectible card, regardless of the grade in the front. Obviously, you don't want a HGA 6 or 7, but if you even have an 8.5 and you have a 10 auto, I think that makes for a really good collectible. I think long term, if you're collecting a player, that the grade of the auto is really going to matter more than probably people value it right now. Let's just take a look at a PSA slab. We happen to have one here. This is a Zach Levine. We actually just got this on eBay. You can see the slab. I mean, it's okay. You know, it's what it is. This is what everybody's kind of familiar with this. But when you compare it side by side, and let's just kind of take it side by side to the Carlos Correa, I mean, you can see that there is a difference. And the thing about it is, though, let's take a look at the next one here is George Springer. The thing about it is that you really notice it when you're in person at a card show and you see a bunch of slabs in the nice case. I think that's where it really pops. This is a George Springer refractor auto. Again, got another auto. And this one we decided to go with the splash. So you can kind of see in the upper right that it's kind of a splash finish, which we just kind of wanted to see how it looked. I don't know that I necessarily would have gone with that. Seeing this result, the card is bluish, so I probably would have rather had like a bluish splash. But anyway, it's still really nice, and we got the auto grade of 10. So far I'm pretty happy with the auto grades. I tried looking up the George Springer values, but those cards are actually not traded that often on eBay. So it was difficult to get a market price. I would say that we probably broke even with the amount of money that we put into the card along with the grading cost. So I would say those were a little bit break even, but we did make out on that Freddie Freeman. This Mike Trout, it got a 9.0. You can see it got two 9.5s and two 9.0. So kind of a bummer, one 9.5 away from getting a 9.5 as a total score. And I think that would have made a pretty big difference in the value of this card. Nevertheless, it's a nice card, nice refractor. It's not an auto. 2014 Topps Chrome Mike Trout. And currently the PSA 9 value of this card is $138. So it's actually pretty cheap. That would make this card roughly around the same. If I saw this at a card show in an HGA slab, and I could get it for in the low 100s, I would think that that's a pretty good value. I think Mike Trout is a little bit undervalued right now because he's been out with that calf injury, and the Angels are not doing that well. They're not doing that badly though, but they definitely have some room to improve. Anyway, so we had one last card in the order, and that was another George Springer black refractor. Another really beautiful card. We just went with a uniform match neutral on this one. I think looking back, I probably would have done a splash. I really like the splash finish as opposed to the neutral finish. But still, a really nice looking slab, a nice looking card. I think on this auto, we got a 9. So that's a little bit of a bummer. But out of the 4 autos that we sent in, we got 3 10s. So I'll take that. And you can see the 4 scores. We got a 10 on the edges, a 9.5 on the centering, a 9.5 on the corners, and unfortunately the surface was an 8.0, and I believe it was for the same reason that I just suggested earlier. We bought this card raw on eBay, and people who sell their cards raw on eBay know, I mean, they're not dumb, especially high-end cards. It only costs a few dollars to get a magnifying glass and look at your card. And you're going to see some people will play dumb. They'll say, I've never graded. I don't know what grading is. I don't understand what that is. I don't know what you're asking. And I just really believe that they're full of it. They know what they're selling you, and so it's really up to you. If you get the card and you feel it's good enough to take a chance at one of the grading companies, that's kind of what we did here. At the end of the day, I believe that we're kind of break even on this card too. So if you can break even, that's not the worst thing in the world. The other thing we're betting on is that the cards will go up in value. George Springer is another player who's been hurt and recently came back in a very loaded Blue Jays lineup. So that's kind of the reasoning behind purchasing these cards in the first place and getting them graded. Want them to look nice in an HGA slab. And I think people were interested in the cards because of the slab, at least in part. And that made it, that was definitely worthwhile. So I'm looking forward to my future orders coming back from HGA, kind of to see what the scores are and what the resale values are. But just as far as aesthetics are concerned, I'm really happy with the way the cards look, and look forward to more orders. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you on the next one.